from CBS Sports.
High drive, center field, hit the wall, grand slam. This is magnificent.
Got a fantasy question? Email fantasybaseball@cbsi.com. Get ready to win your league.
Where fantasy becomes reality.
Now here's Frank, Scott, Chris, and Adam.
You've got questions, we've got answers. Welcome into our latest Fantasy Baseball Today live stream Q&A mailbag extravaganza. Frank Stanfield here with Scott White. No Chris today, so you've got an hour with the Scotty Dubs. How was your Monday, Scott?
Oh, just wonderful. Just great. So good. No, you have no idea.
Long time no see, man. It's been, I don't know, really not that long.
I see too much of you, frankly.
No such thing. Come on, Scott. Anyway, we're going to be here for the next hour or so answering your questions, whatever you've got. Fantasy baseball, real life baseball, trade deadline approaching. You want to ask us about your favorite team, your fantasy team, life, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. No spoilers, of course. There is one game going on right now between the Twins and the White Sox. It's the first game of a doubleheader, so it is a 7-inning game. It's in the bottom of the sixth. Score is currently tied 1-1 on solo home runs from both Tim Anderson and Nelson Cruz. We have 6 more games starting up in the 7 p.m. hour. So if anything crazy happens, we will let you know. And speaking of craziness, we did have some players placed on the IL, unfortunately, already on Monday. Jazz Chisholm, who we spoke about on today's podcast, dealing with a left shoulder contusion, placed on the IL. Gavin Lux with a hamstring with the Dodgers. Garrett Cooper, another one for the Marlins there, left elbow sprain. And then this one just came in out of nowhere, really. Alek Manoah with a right back contusion, retroactive to July 16th. So maybe, I don't know, it doesn't sound all that scary, Scott. You know, the fact that they're kind of dating it back to a couple of days ago. I don't expect it to be a long stay, but also not a doctor. So,
no, you're not a doctor, but no, I don't, maybe it might be kind of helpful in terms of managing his innings. I'm actually putting together an article right now looking at pitchers with potential innings concerns, and it seems like Alek Manoah should be on it, considering he threw 17 innings 2 years ago, 17 innings as a professional prior to this year, or something like that.
Yeah. It's something we mentioned too when he was first called up, that this is a possibility. So maybe this is how the Blue Jays are looking to limit those innings and keep Alek Manoah safe for the long run if they do expect to make a run here in the American League. Also, this is not confirmed, pure speculation on my part. I just started thinking, and it's like, well, they're returning back to Toronto July 30th. Maybe they want to line things up with him pitching at home in Rogers Center. I don't know. It's just something I just randomly thought of, but there's no sources or anything attached there. It's just pure speculation on my part. Let's answer some questions, Scott. We do have some questions that were here before we even started, so we'll start there. This one's from Billy Palmer. Would you trade Acuna for Vlad in a Dynasty league?
If it's a points league, yes.
But not in Roto. Acuna, of course, has a torn ACL, likely going to miss the start of next season. We don't have a clear timeline on that, but my early guess is that he probably misses the first month of next season.
I think that would be on the more optimistic end, personally. Okay. I could see him missing as much as half of 2022. But obviously, there's a huge stolen base disparity between the two for Roto, and that's a difficult category to fill, and you like filling it early with a guy who can actually hit. So, it kind of depends somewhat on the how keepers work in a dynasty league. If it gets more expensive to keep Acuna every year, and you're not sure you're going to have him for all of next year anyway, then maybe it makes sense. But I think generally speaking, a categories league, I still prefer Acuna to Vlad going forward.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. So we'll go Vlad in any kind of points context in a dynasty league, Acuna in any type of Roto categories type of dynasty league. This one is from BZA, RZA, GZA. JD Davis or Austin Riley rest of season. Also, CBS Sports needs to extend you 3 with long-term deals ASAP. The show is head and shoulders above the rest. Keep being outstanding, you guys. All right, well, I'm going to take a screenshot of that so I can see my bosses. That noise that you just heard was me taking a screenshot. All right, Scott, what do you think? JD Davis or Austin Riley rest of season?
I don't think there's much reason to back off Riley at this point. I know it's been a little, the production's, kind of been lacking since that awesome May, but there's been enough of it for me to hold out hope that another hot streak is just around the corner and that the breakthrough is legit and all of that. I mean, JD Davis could end up being better, but there's so little to go on at this point. We're talking about 60 plate appearances this year that have been mostly very, very encouraging, but very, very small sample. I would not give up on Riley for Davis over that.
I agree with you. I would also take Austin Riley. It's really just been a bad June for Austin Riley. He has an 850 OPS or better in the other 3 months this season for Austin Riley. So he's bounced back a little bit so far in July, where he is batting 277, 16% walk rate. Strikeouts are down again, 897 OPS. Small sample, but pretty nice numbers there from Austin Riley. So I agree. I would go with that. All right. This one is from Cliff Shelton. Hope everyone held on to starting pitchers. Would not be surprised if teams putting 27-year-old SPs on the 10-day IL for a month rest of season alternate site so they still get necessary work. It's not really a question, but it's a comment. It's hard for me to read these before I actually make them live. So
there were a lot of specifics in that. 27-year-olds missing precisely a month.
Yeah, that was
not sure I followed it completely.
With all the outfield problems Braves have had, what are they going to do with Drew?
Drew Waters? Is that who they're asking about? Because he's been miserable at AAA.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to rush him.
And I know Baseball Prospectus took him out of their mid-season top 50. That's one well-known site that ranks prospects that happened to put out mid-season rankings, so I can speak to theirs. I wasn't tempted to put him in my own mid-season top 25. It looks like he's picked it up a little recently. The numbers look not quite as bad.
Yeah,
they did.
He's having a nice July here, Scott. Really brutal June for Drew Waters. Braves prospect. He hit 188, 0 homers in the month of June. More so known for his speed anyway, but only a 525 OPS in June for Drew Waters. In July, he's batting 333, 2 homers, 4 steals. Nice little bounce back, but
not enough to, I think, be a serious candidate for a call-up, especially, he's 22 years old. You don't want to do any harm to his development, given all the contact issues he's had in the past.
Yeah.
And they just traded for Jack Peterson. Maybe they have another trade in the works. I don't know. Or maybe they have, they lose 10 games the next 2 weeks and basically decide to pack it in for 2021.
I will say that if Drew Waters keeps up what he's done in July, maybe carries it over into August, there's a chance that we can see him in September as a late season call-up, assuming that the Braves...
Yeah, I could see a September call-up situation, sure. I mean, that could go for anyone AA or higher, probably.
All right, this next one is from Quinn Patterson. Who would you drop when Eloy Jimenez comes back? Wander Franco, Randy Arozarena, Cabrian Hayes, Ramon Laureano, Franmil Reyes. 10-team head-to-head points. May have to drop 2 from that group when Sale comes back as well. Assuming this is just redraft head-to-head points, it's probably Wander Franco, I think, Scott.
Well, you don't have to decide yet. I don't think Eloy Jimenez is coming back tomorrow. And Wander Franco's stat line could look way different. Yeah, I mean, a points league, I feel like Randy Arozarena, especially a shallow points league like this, Arozarena would be pretty expendable. Franmil Reyes would be pretty expendable. Brian Hayes might be to the point where you talk about dropping him. It's probably between those 3 for me. I'm not, given how shallow the league is, I kind of want to hold on to the higher impact Wander Franco, at least as things stand now.
All right. This next one is from Austin. Dropping Rich Hill for a hitter, 6x6. Stolen bases and walks are combined. I think that's what that means. SBBB. What do you think, Scott? Is that what that means? SBBB? I don't know. 12-team, 3 outfield roto, struggling offensively, except in average and total bases. JD Davis, Vidal Brujan, Ty France, Jeff McNeil, or Brandon Marsh.
I would drop Hill for probably take a chance on JD Davis right now. See where that leads.
That's what I was thinking too.
Ty France would be my second choice, but I'm losing hope in him providing much in the way of power. Pretty safe source of batting average, but maybe not enough power to pass up Davis until you know what his season is going to look like.
This one's from Robert. When is Trout coming back? Does anyone know? Well, it's not today because the Angels lineup is out and Mike Trout is not in it. But as we mentioned on today's podcast, he did travel with the team to Oakland. So I guess he's getting closer, but I don't know if they want to activate him without him playing any rehab games. So it's still kind of up in the air, but I think we're getting closer. Do you have anything on Trout, Scott?
Nope. It's basically just wait and see, but it does appear like things are getting closer.
This next one's from John. Drop Patrick Corbin for Josiah Gray. That is Dodgers prospect Josiah Gray, who has the potential of starting tomorrow's game for the Dodgers.
Look, I don't think there's much reason to hold on to Corbin at this point. I think his fringy matchups play liable to do you more harm than good when you do play him. So I don't have a problem with it. I'm not terribly optimistic about Josiah Gray making a real impact here. I think he's talented. I think his fastball especially, he has a great command of it and it's a good swing and miss pitch and probably has a bright future, but he hasn't pitched even 5 innings since coming back from his shoulder issue. And it doesn't seem like Clayton Kershaw is going to be out for long. So it might be 1 and done. It might be 2 and done. You know, it might be two starts where he doesn't go 5 innings and then he gets sent back down. You know, it would be different if he'd been going 6+ consistently in the minors, because it's like, oh, he could have such a good start. He forces his way into the mix, maybe moves David Price back to the bullpen. But I just don't see that scenario playing out given where he is in his rehab, in rehabilitating this injury. So yeah, I would not be inclined to invest much in Josiah Gray.
This one's from Russ. Heard anything at all about Ketel Marte? Been absolutely nothing on him for a while. The last update we have on CBS came on July 3rd, and Ketel Marte took at bats in a live batting practice session Friday, but did not run out of the batter's box. He's dealing with a hamstring.
I just saw an update on Twitter earlier today, as a matter of fact.
Ooh.
Yes, here it is from Zach Buchanan, beat writer, Diamondbacks beat writer for The Athletic.
Do tell.
Ketel Marte was supposed to get a follow-up MRI on his hamstring today, but Tori Lavulo said he showed up and the MRI machine was broken.
Oh,
He'll get one tomorrow instead.
come on, man.
It's like the milkshake machine at McDonald's. It's always broken when you need it, you know?
Oh, man. And we always need it. We always need the milkshake machine. Are you a McFlurry guy, Scott? You mess with the McFlurries, McDonald's?
I mean,
I haven't.
it just makes me wish I was eating a Blizzard, to be honest. Just get a Blizzard.
I don't have.
I know they're not as widely available. I understand.
Yeah, I haven't even seen. Where is that? What is that? Sonic? Is that where they sell?
That's Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. Yeah, there you go. They're all the same to me because I never get to see any of them. I live in New York City. Those things do not exist around. You have McDonald's though, and I do see a McFlurry at times. The Oreo McFlurry. That's
yeah. I do want to mention people pointing out in the comments that Jarren Duran just hit his first home run.
Scotty. I was getting to it.
I stole the thunder, huh?
Spoiler alert, Scott. All right, so I did mention that I would announce anything notable that happens in the games that are currently on. And there you go. Jarren Duran hits his first home run. It comes against the Toronto Blue Jays off of Ross Stripling, a 2-run dinger for Jarren Duran. If you have Jarren Duran on your fantasy team, give us a like this video, smash that thumbs up. Even if you don't have Jarren Duran on your fantasy team, smash that like button, help us out. Also subscribe. If you are here watching and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure you hit that big old red button, subscribe, tap the notification bell. You'll get a notification every time we go live, which most nights is right around midnight Eastern time. Sorry, so late, but we kind of have to wait for the games to the games to end, at least the East Coast games there. So yeah, please subscribe. We do appreciate that. And whoever gave us a thumbs down, we just started. All we're doing is answering questions. What have we done to garner a thumbs down? So
I think we just lost that contract extension.
shame on you, whoever did that. Turn that frown upside down. Give us some thumbs up. All right, let's continue answering some questions here from Mr. Grouch. Maybe it was Mr. Grouch who gave us a thumbs down. I started Logan Gilbert over Yusei Kikuchi this week. Am I crazy? No, you're not. Logan Gilbert, his last 8 starts, he has a 2.51 ERA. I'm very excited about what he's doing. And Yusei Kikuchi has gotten rocked his last 2 starts. Spin rates, velocity down. I'm okay. Look, I'm not saying that you have to bench Kikuchi for just anyone, but if you're doing it for Logan Gilbert, I'm all right with that, Scott.
I agree. I'm pretty scared to start Kikuchi now. Not so much because he struggled his last 2 outings, but not even because of the spin rate. It's really just the velocity. I don't know what's up with that. We're talking over a mile per hour down his past 2 starts. And struggles have corresponded with it. So yeah, I kind of don't trust him until I see him turn around, and maybe it'll happen really quickly. But if you have an alternative as good as Gilbert, I think that sounds like a good plan.
This one's from Taha. In a 10-team league with Alek Manoah going on the IL, should I drop him for Carlos Carrasco? Other options are Logan Gilbert or Valdez, Framber Valdez. Interesting. I guess 10-team league. Yeah, 10-team league, so shallow there. I have Valdez ranked the highest, but I would be okay dropping Manoah for either Valdez or Gilbert.
Everybody's so expendable in a 10-team league.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know that it makes sense to drop Manoah for Carrasco, who's still got a few rehab starts to make, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, Framber Valdez, I agree, is the one I'd want most, even though his last 3 starts have been kind of shaky.
All right, this next one is from Ben. Is Willy Adames for real? He is in 50 games with the Brewers, batting .314 with 11 home runs and a .976 OPS. Now, he's been very good with them, and we've cited it many times. Leaving Tropicana, the batter's eye was something that affected his ability to see the ball in Tampa Bay. Getting out of there has really helped him. I do not think he's going to maintain a near 1,000 OPS. That is where I stand. Can he settle in as a low 800s OPS kind of bat when everything is said and done? Yeah, maybe I'm selling him short a little bit, but he's currently on pace. If you just triple these numbers, 33 homers, over 100 RBI. That's really good. I think Willy Adames is better than what we saw in Tampa Bay, but I don't know that he's that good, Scott.
I'm trying to look up his career road numbers, which obviously includes some time with the Brewers now at this point. But that might give us an indication if Tropicana Field was holding him back.
He is crushing.
And you may be selling him short a little. I was thinking more like maybe he could be around a 900 OPS. Career road stats, 304 batting average, 895 OPS.
Wow. I mean, if he's a near 900 OPS bat, I mean, this guy, he's like a top 50 player next season in fantasy.
Possibly. And obviously that's the best case scenario. I think your assessment is safer, of course.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, if we're just talking directionally and not, precise numbers directionally, is Willy Adames for real? Like, is he better now? Is he significantly better now than he was with the Rays? I'm leaning yes on that.
Yes. And I agree with that wholeheartedly as well. He should not be available. If you need a shortstop, middle infielder, if you were someone who drafted Gleyber Torres, I said a month ago I would drop Gleyber Torres for Willy Adames, and obviously I'm not going back on that now. So if he's available in your league, make sure to change that for Willy Adames. Pete Alonso just hit his 18th home run of the season as well. That came off of Vladimir Gutierrez, who does give up a bunch of fly balls. All right, this one's from Alan. Should I trade Marcus Semien for Jake Cronenworth? 8-team head-to-head. Keep up the great content. See you from Mexico. Awesome. We appreciate that one. Semien for Cronenworth. As great as Cronenworth has been, Scott, I still do. I would rather have Marcus Semien myself.
I was just saying everybody's expendable in a 10-team league. So how expendable is everyone in an 8-team league? Mm-hmm. It might even make somebody like Marcus Semien, the top scoring second baseman so far, expendable. But no, I wouldn't do it either.
All right, Scott. Let's bang out a few of these. Let's do this a little bit quicker here. Some rapid fire questions. Are Jared Kelnick and Bobby Witt worth keeping in a 3-keeper 12-team categories league? My only lock is Fernando Tatis. In the past, they've been Tatis, Yelich, and Arenado.
3 keepers, 12 teams. I think Arenado's moving out of that range, but we really need to see more from Kelnick before the season ends to move him into that range. So I'd keep looking in a league this shallow with this few keepers.
This next one is from Ben. Cody.
Well, obviously Yelich can move out of that group. The only obvious keeper of that 3 was the first name, Tatis. Go ahead.
This one's from Ben. Cody Bellinger or Nolan Arenado rest of season?
Arenado. I don't know what to expect from Bellinger rest of season. No idea.
Yeah, it's tough, man. Like, we have a panel roundtable discussion coming out that Dan Schneier puts together for us. And one of my bold predictions on it was that Cody Bellinger finishes the season with less than 15 home runs. He's currently at 4. So I don't know if that's actually bold, but basically I just don't have a lot of confidence in him. This one's from Robert. Kenta Maeda or Tony Gonsolin rest of season?
I would say... that's a tough one. Because pitching deep into games is my concern for both. Who are you going to say? You seem to know. You seem to say it with conviction. So,
I'm going with Kenta Maeda. I know his last 3 starts have been very good, and they've been great matchups too. The Royals and the Tigers twice. But Gonsolin is kind of similar in that he's not going deep into starts, and we've seen Maeda when he's at his highest upside. It's pretty damn good.
Yeah. I was leaning Maeda too, but I just was thinking maybe recency bias was affecting my opinion there. So I'll agree with you on Maeda, but I feel like maybe I am more bullish on Gonsolin right now than most people are.
Jeff McNeil, back-to-back home runs with Pete Alonso. Vladimir Gutierrez doing Vladimir Gutierrez type things. This one's from J-Man. Yohan Moncada or Brian Hayes in a points league? And both have been letdowns.
Yeah, I mean, Moncada's been getting on base, but that's basically all he's done. That's helpful in a points league, but is it helpful enough?
He hit a home run over the weekend, too.
I still got a soft spot for Brian Hayes. You know, one of my bold predictions in that same piece you referred to with Cody Bellinger finishing with fewer than 15 home runs, one of my bold predictions was Yohan Moncada moves back to second base for the White Sox.
Interesting.
It's kind of stupid, but I was just trying to think of a way to keep Jake Berger and Gavin Sheets in the lineup with Eloy Jimenez coming back. It's like, I mean, maybe they could move Jake Berger to second base. He got 4 starts there in the minors this year, but I think Moncada makes more sense personally.
Yeah, no, Berger and Gavin Sheets have both played very well for the White Sox, so would be nice to see if they could find ways to keep those guys in the lineup. Did you actually? You're going with Brian Hayes on that last one, right?
I got a soft spot for Brian. I got to see it through.
All right. This one's from Orlando. Drop Isaiah Kiner-Falefa for Austin Nola. Is Carlos Carrasco worth adding rest of season? Sure, of course. It depends who you have to drop. But let's assume that you are using IKF as your catcher in this league, Scott. Would you drop him for Austin Nola? Because that's how I'm perceiving it.
Austin Nola's not even playing that much, right?
No, he's not back yet. He's coming back from the IL soon.
Okay, yeah. But when he was back earlier, he was only playing like 2 out of every 3 games, if that.
Yep.
So, no, I mean, playing time is a big differentiator, a catcher, and Kiner-Falefa certainly has that going for him. So, no, I would not do that.
All right. This is from Adam White. So, basically, this is like a long-lost brother of both Adam Azer and Scott White, of course. Worried about Carlos Correa or Yordan Alvarez, especially silly Correa coming off of the COVID IL. I know I was watching the game yesterday. I think that he's in maybe like an 0 for 20 slump or something like that. I mean, I guess it's possible that something from when they were on the COVID IL could be affecting them. But overall, I mean, honestly, I haven't dove into the numbers recently for either of them. But
yeah, I'm not worried.
All right. From Derek, James Caprillion or Tony Gonsolin, 10-team points league?
I want to go with the upside of Gonsolin, even though I know Caprillion's been solid so far.
From Jose, trade Tony Gonsolin. Lots of Gonsolin questions. Trade Gonsolin for Jarren Duran in Roto. Interesting. Duran.
You could justify it more in Roto. Duran is just like, it's just a lottery ticket at this point. We know he will hit one home run because we've seen it now. We don't know anything else about the way his first stint in the majors is going to go, and it hasn't gone very well for prospect call-ups the past 2 years. It's been a difficult transition for them to the majors on the whole. Doesn't mean he won't be an exception, but I'd lean against it. I mean, at this point, we're more than halfway through the season. It kind of depends what your needs are, and if you need an outfielder more than a starting pitcher, then you roll the dice on it. But it feels like a roll of the dice.
All right. This is actually very relevant. This question is: Juan Soto going to live up to his preseason ranking? Well, let me tell you, Ben. Juan Soto just hit a 3-run home run off of Ross Detweiler. So some lefty on lefty action there for Juan Soto, who loves hitting against lefties for his career. Actually used a left-handed pitcher during the home run derby. And again, mentioned this on today's podcast as well, but Soto said that he thought the home run derby was going to help him add some lift, some launch angle to his swing coming into the second half of the season, which could help with power. And now this is the third home run that we've seen Juan Soto hit in 4 games since the start of the second half. So he hasn't lived up to his preseason ranking yet, Scott, but I feel very confident in Juan Soto, basically.
Yep.
This one is from Cooper. How are we feeling about Jarred Kelenic? Still striking out a lot since coming back. Are we still worried about him? Well, he hasn't played many games since returning from the IL. He's only played from the minors. He's only played 3, and I'm going to pull it up here and see how many strikeouts he has. But
4?
4 strikeouts. What do you think?
I noticed. 6 strikeouts.
Oh, it's 6 strikeouts. Yeah.
That's struck out twice each of the 3 games.
46% strikeout rate. Wow.
Yeah, and I noticed, obviously, a sample of 3 games.
Yeah, it's super small.
You can take almost nothing from it, but if there is something to take from it, it's that, oh boy, he struck out 6 times in those 3 games. So I don't know. I know up here it shouldn't change anything for me, but right here, or really down a little lower in the stomach, which you can't see, down in the stomach, it does get it a rumbling a bit.
Rumbling in the tumbling for Jarred Kelenic. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, 6 strikeouts in 3 games. Obviously, it's not great, but it's
queasy feeling. That's what's in the tummy.
It's a small sample size. This one's from Graydon. Players whose fantasy value may go up if they are traded: Joey Gallo, Chris Bryant, etc. Well, anyone who goes to Colorado, it's not going to happen. Joey Gallo, look, if he went to Yankee Stadium, we don't have to spell it out for you. Short porch and right field, obviously, I think that would be a boon for his value. We brought up Jose Barrios last week. If he's traded to the National League, there was a rumor today about the Mets wanting to make a splash. I think, Barrios getting to face the pitcher in the National League, obviously that's one less hitter, so that could help his numbers as well. Anything come to mind, Scott?
Not players who'll get traded themselves, but the ones left behind, like Ryan Tepera.
Sure.
For the Cubs, it seems like he would take over as closer, but you know how it is with closers these days. There's not a lot of clarity, at least not a lot of immediate clarity in that role ever. Somebody else who would gain value. I mean, if a starting pitcher gets traded from the AL to the NL, that would possibly give him a boost of some kind.
If Richard Rodriguez is traded from Pittsburgh, I think David Bednar would become the closer for the Pirates, and I actually think he's a pretty good pitcher, so that's someone that comes to mind as well. This next one's from Joshua. What do I do with Razor Ramon Laureano? Hey, Chico. It's a wrestling thing, Scott. It's Razor Ramon. Anyway, for Ramon Laureano, man, he's had a really weird season. He hit 292 back in May. Yes, 292. In April, he hit 223 with 3 homers and 8 steals. Did not pick up another stolen base until July. So that in itself is very weird for Ramon Laureano. He hit 292 in May, then 204 in June, and now 189 in July. So overall, I just don't think he's that great of a hitter, Scott, for Ramon Laureano. A little bit of power, a little bit of speed, streaky, inconsistent. a better roto player who hopefully by the end of the season gives you close to 20 homers and 20 steals.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I think in a roto league, you don't mess with him too much, especially like a 5 outfielder roto league. You have to have the resolve to stick with him even when he's struggling, because I mean, we have a pretty good sense of who he is right now, amid the ups and downs.
All
like
right. What else?
Summed it up.
What else do we have here? From Blessed Delgado, Brendan Rodgers or Nico Horner? Well, I asked Scott that on the podcast today, and he said...
I said Brendan Rodgers.
That's right.
More upside. I almost forgot.
What did I say? This one is also from Graydon. What should I look for if I'm shopping Joe Musgrove, or should I hold until another good start to up his value? Yeah, I mean, this is a tough time to try and sell him because he's kind of on a streak of not pitching very well for Joe Musgrove.
Yeah,
I would still think he can get like a back end starter ish. You know, if you're looking at a specific positional rank, like a top 10 or top 12 at first base or second base or shortstop, or maybe like a top 25 outfielder. I think that's fair.
Yeah, it sounds pretty fair. I don't know. I don't know if the other person would go for it. Let me tell you a trade I offered to somebody else in Tout Wars. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And involved Joe Musgrove. I needed pitching somehow, even though I spent 3 of my first 4 picks in a 15-team league on pitching. I need pitching. And I offered Jared Walsh, who I consider a top 25 outfielder, and Ketel Marte for Joe Musgrove. And who was the other pitcher? Another pitcher like Joe Musgrove. I can't remember now. I hate when that happens. But yeah, kind of a pitcher in the same range as Joe Musgrove. And the other guy turned it down. So, but obviously I thought that would have been.
That doesn't sound like an awful deal.
No. I don't make awful offers, Frank.
No,
People just reject me on principle. They're like, oh, this guy's coming for my players. I better pack them in.
Very recently, we made a trade together in your Dynasty League. So I can attest that you do not make awful offers. I'm trying to find out who that pitcher was for you. Was it Sandy Alcantara?
I don't remember. If you give me a minute to look up the guy's roster, I can probably figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go pull it up, that's cool. I did make a face because I checked back in on that Red Sox game, and Ross Stripling is out of the game. He recorded 1 out, and he gave up 6 runs. He gave up a grand slam to Hunter Renfroe. So I hope you didn't have Ross Stripling in your lineup. All right, let's see. What else we got going on here? Actually, we're
Charlie Morton. It was Charlie Morton.
Charlie Morton. All right, so Charlie Morton and Musgrove for...
is who I wanted, and I was going to give him Jared Walsh and Ketel Marte. And I think Caleb Smith or somebody stupid like that was included in the deal. But yeah.
Probably a little rich just because Ketel Marte is still hurt, but it's not far off. I think it's a pretty even trade there. We are about halfway through here on the stream. If you're hanging out, please remember, smash that like button. We do appreciate it. We've got about 93 people watching right now, and we only have 32 likes, 32 thumbs up. So please smash that like button. It helps other people find the video and, of course, find our YouTube channel. And if you are watching, make sure to subscribe here, Fantasy Baseball Today. All right, let's see what else we got. Fran Mill going to have a big second half. I could see it. When healthy, he's had a good first half.
Yeah. I mean, even 2 years ago when he hit 38 home runs, he was like 2.3 points per game. So not a great points league player, is bottom line. But yeah, he'll hit a lot of home runs.
Yeah, Fran Reyes strikes out a good bit and doesn't really walk all that much. So he's aggressive, and I believe he's actually raised the launch angle a little bit this year. So,
I know, because that comment, they didn't like me suggesting dropping him in a points league. I saw it go through. So that's why I was bringing back to points leagues.
We're always watching. We're always watching for those comments. This was from Tyler McLaughlin. What do I do with Tyler Malley? He was part of that group that I had on today's podcast, Scott, where pitchers you might be worried about based on what they've done recently. I kind of think he's like a matchup play with high strikeout upside.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't consider him must start, except in some deeper leagues where I really have no choice. I agree with, like, he has enough great starts that you want to keep him around and use him probably more often than not, but he's not must start.
This one's from Sung Yen Su. Will Byron Buxton be back this season? Should I hold on to him? Yeah, we haven't got much of an update recently on Buxton. The last that we saw is that the Twins were actually trying to work on a contract extension with him, but he tried to return earlier, kind of like re-injured himself.
I think I saw something on Twitter about him today gripping a bat. Not quite to the point where he's able to grip a bat yet. I expect him to be back this year, but it's going to be a few more weeks.
Forrest Law, you have a potty mouth, and I'm not going to promote your comment because you said a bad word. A lot of questions from Ben. I got to start limiting you, Ben. No, I'm just kidding. Traded Lance McCullers for Shane Bieber. What do you think of that trade?
I like it. Bieber played catch today.
Yes.
Hopefully that's the start of something magical.
Yes, agreed. Lance McCullers, by the way, coming off a very good start himself. So, yeah, nice little sell high situation there. But again, make sure that you are selling high. All right, I'm just getting to all of the Jaron Duran comments. So, man, I'm quite behind here. This one from Austin. Time to drop Yimi Garcia. Would you pick up Anthony Bender, who would be the next reliever up in the Marlins bullpen ahead of a possible trade, or maybe Daniel Bard, Pete Fairbanks, or Heath Hembry?
I don't think it's time to drop Garcia yet. I mean, it's not time until he's out of the role. We do all think Anthony Bender would get the next crack at it if he is. Yeah, I mean, I would keep Yimi Garcia over all those guys, personally. Daniel Bard is the next most likely, well, maybe the most likely of all to keep getting save chances, but you know, the rest of his line isn't pretty, and the Rockies only get so many save chances anyway. And I guess it's possible Daniel Bard himself gets traded out of the closer role. So, yeah, I think Yimi Garcia, just hold on to him for right now. Maybe handcuff Bender to him if you could afford to drop somebody else.
There's a lot going on in baseball right now already. The first inning for the Nationals, Josh Bell hits a home run, and you know what that means. That means Josh Bell. Guy's been good past couple of months. He's coming around. The Red Sox are up 8-zip. Kike Hernandez hit a 2-run homer. The first inning has finally ended, by the way. Jaron Duran just got his second at bat. He lined out to the second baseman. So lots going on here in baseball early on. We'll talk about all of it later on the podcast as well. This one's from Tim. I was offered JD Martinez in exchange for Carlos Rodon and Nathan Eovaldi. 7x7 head-to-head categories league. My pitching is pretty deep. I need home runs. Should I accept? Oof.
I kind
of feel like Rodon for Martinez is fair in itself. Not that Eovaldi completely shifts whether I want to make a trade or not, but you are giving up a pitcher.
Yeah, I mean that's how it breaks down for me too. I want more for Rodon, but I'm not sure you can get more. And he's in danger of seeing the innings curtailed in the second half, especially since the White Sox have a commanding lead. Just kind of save him for the playoffs. I don't know. If I'm giving it a grade, probably C-, but that doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't take it.
Yeah. If you have as much pitching depth as you say you do, then this is probably a trade that makes sense for you.
Yeah.
All right. But I do agree with you, Scott. I've tried to shop Carlos Rodon in a few leagues where I have him, and it seems like other people either have similar concerns as we do of him being cut down, or they just don't value him nearly as highly as we do. So
I don't know what he almost had a second no-hitter yesterday.
Yeah. And it wasn't even against the Mariners. How about that, Scott?
It's against the Astros of all teams.
Yeah, that one's a little bit tougher there. This is not really a question, but
numbers are so good.
It's from Katie. Frankie and Scotty Hot Tubs. Scotty Hot Tubs. Is that a new nickname? Is that what we're going with? Are you a fan of baths, Scott?
What? I do bathe. It's usually more of a shower. I don't know. I don't want to put any images in anybody's head.
This one's from Peter. Frank, I think it's time for a Twitter profile picture change. Who do you have in mind? So that's actually, it's funny you bring that up because I've been thinking about this recently. And for a while, it was like kind of a curse because I had Kluber up there. He got hurt. I had Stanton. He got hurt. I put Kelnick up there. He got demoted back to the minors. And then I put up Trevor Bauer, and you know what happened there. So I have a Adolis Garcia right now because the Welsh, Chris Welsh, who we've had on this podcast many times, he has a bet going with his co-host Scott Bogman, where he wants Adolis Garcia to perform poorly. So I've done that. I mean, Garcia hasn't really done much, but if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to tweet at me or email in. Let me know who you think should be the next Twitter avatar picture. I don't know. I don't have anyone yet. What do you think, Scott? Is there anyone that you would like to besmirch or
somebody I want to jinx? I don't know. I like when everybody's good.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Who's somebody I don't have any shares of?
I could just think of a bunch of great players that I don't have on my teams, which stinks. I don't have a single share of Fernando Tatis this year, but obviously I would never put
you
his.
Don't want to jinx him.
No, I don't want to exactly. I don't want to jinx him. I'm just sad that I don't have any of him, which stinks. Yeah. This one's from Dennis, but let us know in the comments if you have someone you want me to make my Twitter profile picture. Let me know. Was able to trade Franco for Castillo, keeper, 12-team points league. Grade the trade. Wander Franco, Luis.
Well, it would kind of depend how many keepers. If it's only 3 or 4 or 5, then I would definitely rather have Castillo. But if it's closer to 10, then I'd rather have Franco. So that's really what it comes down to for me. I'll assume it's a lower number, and I'll grade it a B+.
All right, let's get back to some rapid fire here. From Danny, would you trade Dylan Cease and Jordan Romano for Wade Miley and Edwin Diaz? I need saves.
Cease and Romano for Miley and Diaz, and I don't know. If you need saves, I mean, Romano's supposed to give them to you too.
Yeah.
Much rather have Cease than Miley. Well, would I much rather have Cease than Miley? I'd rather have Cease than Miley.
That's where I am at too. I don't know that the difference between Romano and Diaz is worth downgrading from Cease to Miley.
But is it that big of a downgrade?
Yeah. But is it that big of an upgrade from Romano?
You're just shuffling pieces around.
Right. Yeah. I would rather have Cease and Romano, personally.
Honestly, if it's a trade where I feel like I'm just shuffling pieces around, I probably don't make it.
Yeah. This one's from Tony. Would you rather have Javier Baez or Carlos Correa at shortstop?
Correa.
Yeah, I would stick with Correa there. Tim Anderson or Francisco Lindor rest of season? Well, Francisco Lindor is probably out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Tim Anderson just hit his 3rd home run in a row. Homered 3rd game in a row. Not that he's homered 3 times in one game, so that was kind of confusing there. Apologies. Let's see what else we have here. When do you think Bieber will be back? I mean, it's really hard to say. Just started playing catch. I don't know. Mid-August, late August, just random time.
Oh, I'd put it. I think he comes back quickly once he starts a rehab assignment.
All right.
That's my guess. So I would say mid-August at the latest.
From True Daily Double, nickname suggestion for multi-hit game, a Grande. Ariana Grande was first solo artist to have 3 top 10 Billboard hits simultaneously. Interesting. Do you have any opinions on Ariana Grande, Scott? I'm going to guess no.
Not well-formed enough. No.
Me neither. We need Chris here. That sounds like a Chris question. This one's from Kostra. 10-team head-to-head category league. Drop Zach Eflin or Zach Gallen for Willie Adames. If you have the pitching depth and you need a shortstop, I would be okay dropping Eflin for Adames.
Yeah, me too.
Oh.
Not Gallen, though.
What do you think of this, Scott? Jaron Duran, greater signed Jared Kelnick. Spicy.
I mean, it's possible. I'd bet against it.
Yeah. A little reactionary there from this Jaron Duran home run.
Some recency bias at play here.
A gentleman named Tres Barrera just hit a home run for the Washington Nationals. Don't know who that is. This one is from Michael in a 12-team redraft league and looking to trade Trevor Rogers because of the potential innings limit. Actually, it's funny. Before we started, Scott was like, who are all the pitchers with innings limits? I'm going to write about them. So expect an article soon. Should I try to trade Rogers for Nola straight up? I'm guessing that's Aaron Nola. I would like to do that trade. And then I think it's possible too.
Anything is possible.
Who said that, Scott?
I feel like I'll know it when you say it.
All right, I'll give you a hint. He's a basketball player.
Yeah, I knew that. I can't remember which one though.
He played for the Boston Celtics.
Is it Kevin Garnett?
Yes, it is Kevin.
All right.
My next clue was his first name was Kevin. So, what round will we be drafting Zach Wheeler in as of now?
2.
Oh man. So this is kind of like a fantasy philosophical question, Scott, but generally it's harder for me when I drafted a player at his discount and I reaped all those rewards to then go ahead and do the same thing the next year when you have to draft him at his ceiling. So I think we did right before the season started. We kind of ran through every position. Who do you have the most of at each position? And I had Zach Wheeler, and I just kind of wound up with him because no one else wanted him. I wasn't even that excited about him, but I was getting him in, I don't know, any 8 through 10, rounds 8 through 10. You're telling me I have to use a second round pick on Zach Wheeler next year? Probably not going to have much of him.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, you're kind of interpreting the question differently from how I'm interpreting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just answering
I'm thinking, where will he go?
Yeah. He's probably going to be a second or third round pick. Like I'm comfortable saying that.
Unless he stumbles to the finish line, which is possible.
I'm just saying that I don't know that I will feel comfortable drafting him there if that's where his ADP winds up.
Yeah, and you probably shouldn't be.
Yeah, it's just kind of don't draft players coming off career years kind of thing. I guess especially like mid-career breakouts. So
And
it's nothing.
I'm usually more open to that because I feel like people discount them too much. But if Zach Wheeler is going in round 2, that obviously won't be a case where that's happening.
Right. This one's from Sanjay. 12 by 12, 14-team head-to-head categories. That is a lot of categories. My friend traded Cedric Mullins, Emmanuel Clase, and Julio Arias for Shane Bieber when he got injured. Later, he traded Yelich, Blake Snell, Paddock, Severino for Julio Arias, Jeff McNeil, and DJ LeMahieu. So I guess reacquired Julio Arias. At the time, if Bieber was healthy, Mullins, Clase, and Arias for him was probably a fair trade, I think, when he was healthy. I would definitely want the Bieber side, but it wasn't like it wasn't like collusion, sure,
or anything.
And then later traded Yelich, Snell, Paddock, Luis Severino, I assume, for Julio Arias, Jeff McNeil, DJ LeMahieu. That also seems fine.
I think the 2 players I want most are Arias and LeMahieu.
Yeah, and those are the ones that your friend wound up with. So
yeah, I think he was on the right side of the. I understand the Bieber trade didn't work out, but I think he was on the right side of the trade both times at the time he made it.
This one's from Ross 0527. Trade George Springer, Jacob DeGrom, and Austin Riley for Matt Olson, Corbin Burns, and Alex Bregman. Oof, that's loaded.
That's a lot of scratch there. Nah, I'd rather have DeGrom.
Yeah. Matt Olson and Bregman are significantly better. Significantly, maybe. Yeah. No, they're definitely better than Springer and Riley, but DeGrom's also better than Burns. That one's close, man. Especially if Bregman returns soon. I don't know. I think I might take the Olsen side, but listen to Scott. He's better at this than I am. I'm Matt TD. What do I do with Kevin Biggio and Rendon?
Autocorrect there.
I'll help you out, bud. Don't worry.
What do you do with them? Keep him or not at this point? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think Kevin Biggio is a must roster player. If it's a deeper league, I'll probably hold on to him, especially if it's categories. Not that he's been running or anything, but
I don't know that. Well, depending on the league size, I don't know that Rendon's must roster at this point.
Yeah, he just had another setback. He's dealing with a hamstring injury himself. It's been just a completely lost season for Anthony Rendon. I would rather hold
on to Rendon than Biggio, if that's what's being asked here.
Yes, I agree with that. This one's from Timothy. Grade the trade. Daily standard categories 10 team. Get Bieber, give Castillo and Canna. I'm going to assume that's Diego Castillo. Send us first names. Definitely helps when we're evaluating trades. Let's assume Luis Castillo, Scott. Luis Castillo and Canna for Bieber. Seems like a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I wish Bieber was healthy, but these are the kinds of trades that kind of got me hooked on fantasies. These like consolidation trades in a shallow league where you trade 2 good players for 1 amazing player. And so I endorse it for that reason. It's a little risky, obviously, not having a clear timetable for Bieber.
All right, we are at 56 likes. We've got about 10 minutes left here in our live stream. So help us out. There are 110 people watching. There are 56 likes. That math doesn't add up to me. So please help us out. Smash that like button here on YouTube. Do you start Ohtani today as a pitcher? Well, he's going up against the Oakland A's. If you're asking me what I would rather start him as, it's always a hitter. But just in general, would I start him as a pitcher today? Sure. If you have him as just a pitcher.
Have him as just a pitcher. Yeah, if it's a situation where you have to choose, I can't. I mean, he's arguably the best hitter in baseball. Like, how do you take that? Now, what's interesting is, if it's a weekly league, it looks like he might make 2 starts this week. They might slip a 6th guy in there and mess it up. But as things currently stand, he's in line for 2 starts. So that kind of makes you think twice. But I'd still rather start him as a hitter, especially since I don't totally trust them not to slip in that 6th starter.
Don't they have 7 games this week? Oh, no, they don't. They only have 6. You're right. I thought they had 7 because that would have made him a 2-star pitcher regardless of that. But yes, if you do have Ohtani the pitcher, then you can start him tonight. This one's from Michael, trying to shop Trevor Rogers because of the innings limit. We've gotten this question quite a bit. Aaron Nola was someone we said earlier you can try and buy low on if you are shopping Trevor Bauer. Who else in that range would make sense? How about his teammates, Scott? Would you trade Rogers for Sandy Alcantara, who's struggled recently? I don't really have any concerns.
Probably if it came to it, I'd aim higher.
But the thing for me is what's higher than Alcantara, right? Because then for me, it's Rodon, who you might have the same concerns over.
I mean, I'd rather have Rodon than Rogers just because I think he's better. But
I agree. But do you maybe trade him for one of the injured guys like Bieber or Kershaw and hope that those guys come back healthy?
Yeah, I would trade Rogers for either Bieber or Kershaw. Probably Kershaw ahead of Bieber, actually. But I don't know how realistic that is. Worth a try.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Darvish too. Kind of hurt right now. He's making his return today on Monday when we're doing this. So I don't know how realistic it is, but it's something that you can try for. It's hard because making pitcher for pitcher trades are kind of tough by themselves. And then you kind of factor in, everyone knows what we're trying to do with Trevor Rogers right now. So it does make it a little bit tougher there. This one's from Tyler. If you had Akil Baddoo and Alex Kirilloff, which one would you keep and which one would you try to trade?
I'd keep Kirilloff, but what kind of trade value? This must be a pretty deep league if you could trade Baddoo, or even if you could trade Kirilloff. I imagine in a standard 12-teamer, Kirilloff doesn't have much trade value.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's more like a dynasty league. I don't know.
If it's a category league, Baddoo definitely has more value, or at least has to this point. So based on his steals, you might be able to ship him to someone who needs speed. So try and capture.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to have some power, or else he's always just he has value, but fringe value. When Kirilloff, I mean, we're hoping he might break through any day now.
This one is from Abel. Points League. Trade or keep Stanton. Stanton's he's been fine this year. He hasn't lived up to what I thought he could do. He's mostly been healthy, one IL stint, but he's like an 850 OPS player right now, which is okay. It's just not lighting the world on fire or anything.
Yeah.
He's currently at 812. So yeah, I even sold him a little bit high. 258 batting average, 812 OPS, 15 homers. He's been pretty underwhelming, if we're being honest, but I don't know what you're going to, I mean, if you could trade him based on his name value being Giancarlo Stanton and get more than he's worth, you could try, but it's probably not realistic. From Machiavelli Mafia, should I be worried about owning Aaron Nola or Max Scherzer going forward? Definitely not on Scherzer for me. I mean, Nola's been annoying all season, Scott, but there's still nothing in the underlying numbers that I see from Aaron Nola.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I think he's one of the most likely bounce back candidates of the second half. And I don't have any concerns about Scherzer either.
All right, let's find something here. KG. All right, some people knew about Kevin Garnett. Here we go. From something for Clemson. Drop Gavin Lux for Joey Wendell. Sure. I mean, I would hope there's someone better, but sure.
Yeah.
Should JD Davis being a defensive liability be a concern? Is he going to be sat because of it? I don't really think that the Mets have that luxury right now. I mean, Lindor is hurt. They kind of need all the offense they can get.
That was a talking point coming into the year, but yeah, their offense has been abysmal. And who else do they play there?
Yeah. I guess they were playing Jonathan Villar there before. Luis Guillorme is starting at shortstop today, so I don't know.
It was a rhetorical question, Frank.
There are no rhetorical questions here, Scott. We answer all questions. That's what we're here for. It's a live Q&A. This one's from Hunter. Who is a realistic trade acquisition for Freddie Peralta? Very similar to Trevor Rogers, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, we could just copy and paste.
Yeah, well, we talked about pitchers. Outfield is the easiest to look at, but my guess is a top 15-ish outfielder, right? So would you trade Freddie Peralta would you do it for his teammate, Christian Yelich, if you could?
No.
Would you do it for Jesse Winker?
Yeah.
Would you do it for Yordan Alvarez?
Probably. It's not like Peralta's being shut down tomorrow, so it kind of depends on the needs here too. But if you feel confident that your pitching will be okay without Peralta and you're looking to capitalize while you can, I think Alvarez is a fine return.
Would you do it for Trent Grisham?
No.
All right, so that basically means you're looking for a top 12-ish outfielder in return for Freddie Peralta, which I think makes sense. Let's see what else we got here. I just traded Freddie Peralta and Jazz Chisholm for Max Muncy, Hunter, and Hunt. I don't know what this means. What does this mean, Scott?
Muncy, Hunter. I don't know. Hunter Dozier.
I don't know either. From Slurred, which is better, Charlie Blackmon or Andrew Benintendi moving forward?
I would say Blackmon, but not with a lot of conviction. I just don't know that you miss much by passing up Benintendi for Blackmon.
Yeah. This one's from Morgan. In a quality start league, rank these options: Tristan McKenzie, Logan Webb, Tyler Malley, Kyle Muller, Zach Thompson.
Malley, Thompson, Muller. I'll go McKenzie over Webb. McKenzie's last start was great, and he was throwing more strikes in his last stint in the minors, so he could surge up these rankings if the next couple starts go well. But right now, I'd put him fourth of this group.
All right, this next one's from Michael. Would you trade Bryce Harper and Luis Castillo for Matt Olson and Lucas Giolito?
Yes.
Yes. So you get the upgrade at starting pitcher and maybe an upgrade at hitter too. I don't know. It's kind of
maybe. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Harper could be better than Olson. I would bet Harper will be better than Olson, but I'm more confident Giolito will be better than Castillo.
This one's from Trevor. Trade Trevor Rogers and Adalberto Mondesi for Clayton Kershaw and Tim Anderson. I like that.
Yeah.
That's right. You want to talk about someone that we haven't gotten an update on? I haven't heard anything about Adalberto Mondesi, so that one's kind of tough. And speaking of which, is Adalberto Mondesi worth keeping on the IL, or should I drop him and make room for Ketel Marte, who I have sitting on my bench in a points league? I have Semien, Turner, and Cronenworth at shortstop. Yeah, I think especially you have depth and it's a points league.
Yeah,
you could
points league. You can let Mondesi go for sure. Thought I saw an update about Mondesi recently. He's begun swinging. That was reported right after the All-Star break.
All right. From Michael, how do you guys feel about a team trading to stay in playoff contention, trading with a team out of contention? Does that seem like collusion at all? Thanks, and keep up the great work, fellas.
Well, that wouldn't be what collusion is. It might be it might be an indicator of collusion. It might not. I think teams, unless you create an actual rule saying teams that are this far down in the standings at this point in the season can't make trades. You got to allow teams to. You got to allow every person managing a team to do the best he can for as long as he can, to play spoiler, whatever you want to call it. You got to give people a right to manage their teams regardless of where they are in the standings. And frankly, you want them to. You don't want these cupcake matchups for teams competing for a final playoff spot. You want everybody to be involved all season long, and part of that means making trades. I know if I was the team out of contention and you told me you're not allowed to trade, I would be ticked off about that. I wouldn't like that one bit. I probably wouldn't play with you anymore. So I don't have a problem with out of contention teams trading with contending teams. But, if these are enormously lopsided trades, obviously it makes you wonder. You might need to investigate a little further.
I don't know, Scott. I hear what you're saying, but man, as much as I hate the unwritten rules of baseball, it's kind of like the unwritten rules of fantasy. Just because why? I mean, your team is getting better. A team is getting better that is in playoff contention from a team that is playing for nothing. Yeah, yes, they're playing.
Well, they're playing for something.
Yeah, but if
they're playing for their own satisfaction. I mean, that's ultimately what fantasy sports comes down to, is how satisfied were you with your experience?
Sure. I hear you. That one's tough. That one's a little bit tougher for me because I've seen that happen in leagues that I play in before, and it would actually annoy me when it would happen. Just because
you're allowed to be annoyed. Yeah. Just because something annoying happens doesn't mean it was wrong.
No, Scott, it's wrong. I don't know. That one's a little bit tougher. I don't know that there's like just a right or wrong answer there, but I think it's very subjective. All right, we're getting ready to wrap up here. Please, one last push. Smash that like button. We're at 73 right now. There's 106 people watching. Let's see if we can get that up over 80. Let's approach 90 here. A few more questions left. Anything else that we have? You wouldn't trade Rodgers or Aaron Nola for Darvish straight up? Yeah, I mean, I'd be all right doing it for either one. Any other questions here? From Machiavelli Mafia again, I have Brandon Woodruff and Kevin Gosman as well. Any regression concerns? By the way, I love the Q&A, guys. Well, we do appreciate you coming to hang out. I think just based on those guys having ridiculous numbers to this point, there might be just some natural regression, but I don't think that they're just going to straight up be bad for no reason. So
Right. Law of averages says they will regress.
Yeah.
And yet I'm convinced they are as awesome as they appear, if that makes sense.
Two more questions here. Arenado or Rendon rest of season?
Got to say Arenado at this point. Who knows what's going on with Rendon?
Actually, I lied. Now it's two more questions. From Lance Davis, my buddy. Lance Davis has been around for a long time. I do appreciate you coming to hang out, Lance. Better Dynasty keeper long-term, Tristan Casas, who is a prospect in the Red Sox organization, or Nolan Gorman, who is with the Cardinals?
Fair question. I just released my midseason top 25 prospect, and I think I put Casas like 2 spots ahead of Gorman. It was a tough call. When in doubt, I prefer guys who don't strike out much to guys who do strike out a lot. So I have Casas over Gorman.
Yeah, I like that too. It's very close, but I do lean Casas there. Last one from Austin. Would you drop Adbert Alzolay or Tyler McGill for Tristan McKenzie, Kyle Muller, or Alex Cobb?
I would drop... I think I would... man. Gosh. No. I don't think I would. But like Muller and Cobb are basically in the same range. Really, all 5 of these guys are basically in the same range. Like the next start for each of them could change everything in terms of who I want the most. But for now, I'll stick with Alzolay and McGill.
All right, smash that like button. Help us out here. Continue to hit it up and make sure you subscribe to the channel. A lot of people thanking us here. We do really appreciate you coming to hang out with us for the past hour. It was a lot of fun. Remember, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. For Scott, I'm Frank. Thank you all for watching this edition of Fantasy Baseball Today. We will be back later on around midnight. Bye-bye.